Good morning. Welcome to our coffee morning. Now, I don't know why it is, but at about this time of year, every year, I seem to have this irrepressible urge to get my runner beans planted. It's now 3 weeks since I planted the seed in those ever so handy little fibre pots and set them on their way on a windowsill in the conservatory. They're about 6 or 7 inches high now and look really vigorous, as well they may after all the tender loving care they've had. Well, anyway, the bed is ready, having been prepared with compost and a dig over. The canes are in and anti-cat and anti-squirrel precautions are in place. All that's left to do is to stick them in the ground and get the sourdough bread, salty butter and dry cured bacon ready. Well, actually not quite. There are plenty of things still to do. Watering, weeding, slug patrols and tying down and all the other stuff to plant. If all there was to it was to follow the instructions on the seed packet, it would be a doddle and everyone would be doing it. We'd all be growing little horticultural miracles in our window boxes and odd pots and corners of our patios. Herb gardens would flourish and our dullest meals would be enlivened with sprigs of this and that, harvested moments before we use them, fresh and pungent and 10 times better than anything dried or wilting from the supermarket. If only we had the foresight to have listened to the Monty Dons of this world and planted them when he told us to. You tell yourself that it's not too late and find yourself buying yet another packet of seeds that you will probably find in the shed unopened, when you're looking for string tying Christmas decorations in mid-December. Don't worry, we all do it. Just put it with the ones you bought the year before. Now, in my distant youth, one of my more reckless indulgences was the crazy sport of rock climbing. I loved it, even though I always seemed to be working much harder at it than my pals, who were mostly of a slightly slighter and more willy build. This got me thinking about the best build for a rock climber. So I asked an instructor what he thought was the ideal physique for a rock climber. Without a pause, he replied, 6 inches taller and about 2 stone lighter than whatever you are now, he said. As I was about 8 stone and still had plenty of time to grow, I thought no more about it, until on a recent country programme on TV, a presenter asked an expert when was the best time to plant a tree. Again, without a pause, he replied, 50 years ago. Not much help there then. But maybe it was more helpful than we think. Both of these replies came from experienced people who had taken note of the experience and were passing on valuable information. The climbing instructor was directing me towards a prop forward direction, and the tree man was pointing out that now would be a good time to plant a tree because you only get this year once and 50 years could be 51 if you don't get a move on. Even when the frost was thick on the ground, I knew that I was going to plant beans, so of course I left it to the last minute to get some seeds. I expect you are more organised than I am and were well ahead of the game. Well, good for you. So what have I learned? Well, for a start, the biggest part of the word plant is plan. And the important part of planting is planning. It's not too late to get a row of beans in, and maybe that newly planted sapling will be a tree sooner than you think. Well, enjoy your coffee and cake, and don't forget to phone a friend.